Hello and welcome back to All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris and I'm talking with Kareem Weaver. And when we went to break, I told you that we were going to get into an administrative petition that was filed by the Oakland branch of the NAACP. Kareem, you filed that motion,
Right.
petition. What is that petition all about? I read it. It's rather long and actually very impressive.
Well, I didn't file it by myself.
I
wasn't
know
the only
that,
one to
but
write
you were
it.
the you were the
but
lead.
So what I was, before we get into nuts and bolts of the petition, I want to say this.
Go ahead.
There is currently, in federal law, the First Step Act that President Trump signed, I believe it was 2018, requires inmates in the federal penitentiary to be screened for dyslexia and given the supports they need to get their GED. My nephew, formerly my niece, was a beneficiary of that. We should not be waiting until our young people are locked up in the penitentiary to get the help they need. The prison pipeline, the school day, it's not a game. It's not a talking point or buzzword or whatever trendy thing is. Real people, real lives, real families are impacted by the choices we make in our schools. We are not teaching our children to read. I have a cousin who's also incarcerated for about 20 years. You talked about, he said, illiteracy makes the cuffs tighter. We have people sleeping all over town on the bridges, on roads, on the side here and there. Something is wrong, and nobody's willing to look in the mirror and say, what's really going on? What's the root cause of this? If you can't read in the information age, how are you? It's like being in the Stone Age with no stone.
Exactly.
And so we have to do something. It's a civil rights issue. That's the reason why the NAACP got involved. Education is guaranteed in the California Constitution. The science is clear. The research consensus has been clear for 15, 20 years. The feds have weighed in on it. The state has weighed in on it. We just need our local practitioners and system leaders, et cetera, to do what they need to do, to make the case to win hearts and minds, to give the teachers the support they need, to make sure the curriculum has evidence of success. And so we laid things out in our administrative petition so that we could eliminate the noise. There are a lot of good talk going, a lot of meetings going on about literacy in Oakland these days. And we wanted to clarify the steps towards progress and success for the students, the teachers, and the district.
And when you filed the petition, what did you hope to accomplish?
A few things. Namely, first and foremost, that the district and its labor partner and the stakeholders, parent organizations would all get on the same page.
And what do you mean all on the same
All on the
page?
same page. Like we would put our ideologies on the table, our practices on the table, our beliefs on the table, our structures and contracts on the table to make sure they're aligned in the right direction. For example, in our petition, one of the things that we state is that whatever curriculum you choose, full implementation of that curriculum and the time that it takes to plan for it, to prepare it, et cetera, that must fit within the bounds of the teacher's contract. And we're not, union bulldogs or anything else. But from a structural standpoint, if you tell the community this is what you need to do to make sure your kids can read, well, then we expect you as a school system to structure yourself in a way that ensures that happens. But you can't tell the teachers, hey, listen, this is what you need to do, but we're only going to pay you half of the time to do it. That's unacceptable. So that's a misalignment. The curriculum adoption process that they're going through right now in Oakland Unified, they're going through, they have a committee and they're trying to figure out what curriculum to use next. We asked them, have you considered evidence of success in what you choose?
What do you mean evidence of success?
That means that if there are options or different curricular choices that you can make, did you start with a list of programs that have shown to improve student achievement. They've been used by teachers to improve student achievement in other places with kids like ours. The demographics fit, they match. It could be urban, it could be rural, but black kids, Latino kids, second language learners, free and reduced lunch, homeless kids, foster, whatever. Has student achievement improved? And can you validate that? Because all the publishers make claims. They make claims about how wonderful their program is. Lots of fancy brochures. But have you looked at the evidence? They said no. We hadn't. We started our process, but we forgot that step. Then they went to level 2. Well, did you look at evidence now? No, we forgot that step. So here we are as the NAACP saying, hold on, wait a second. That ought to be the first place you start. They thought that an organization called Ed Reports, which looks at curriculum and gives a score or a rating on how good it is, how it's tied to the standards, they thought that actually meant student achievement results. Ed Reports said, no, we don't consider that student achievement results at all. It's not what we do. We're just tied to, we just want to let you know if it's tied to the standards or not. But if you want student achievement results, you got to do that on your own. And so we're pushing the district to do those things that most folks probably feel like that's common sense.
Aren't there many examples around the nation where students are learning and are reading?
There are examples, but you have to go find them. You have to go find them. First of all, you have to get past the brochure data. What they say on the brochure. Our kids did. We found district in fourth largest district in the country, Miami-Dade County in Florida. Mm-hmm. One publisher said that they had improved student achievement so much. What they didn't say was the next year it went down. They had said that proficiency rates were around 53% to 60%. Come to find out that when you looked at the data, when you dug beneath the brochure, those weren't proficiency rates. They combined different categories that they should have never combined. The real rates were about 20% to 25%. So you have to dig to find that evidence. And there are examples. Ed Trust West has a podcast called Extraordinary Districts, where they walk through what districts have done to get amazing results for kids in urban settings and in rural settings. That those type of things should be what we're looking at to start the process. And then once you get a list of what works, then you can apply whatever lens you want to. You can vet it, you can have your committee, but you have to start with what works. And we don't think that's very radical, but our petition says, look, you got to start there. You can't put something on teachers and kids that you know from the jump doesn't really work and expect them to turn water into wine. It doesn't work that way. Teachers need the materials they have to have, the training and support they need, and our kids need to have evidence-based instruction with results in front of them on a daily basis.
And the petition is designed to achieve that.
It illuminates that, and it calls for the board to have that standard. The staff can recommend what they want to recommend, but as a board, they're fiduciaries, they're trustees. They have to hold the line and say, we will only approve things that has validated evidence of improving student achievement for students in communities like ours. They have to also hold the line and say, how much time does it take to do this? Well, is our contract for teachers aligned to that? No? Case dismissed. On to the next. Give me something that works, that our teachers can do, and it is usable. Oftentimes, and this is what's also in the petition, oftentimes people attribute success to things like cultural relevancy is great. We want kids to be proud of themselves. But we also find that people want teachers to be caring and loving and to do all the things that they need them to do. They have to have the bandwidth to do that. They can't be so stressed out trying to figure out some crazy curriculum that they actually don't have the bandwidth to use a scalpel rather than, a hammer. They're practitioners, they're professionals, but they have to have the bandwidth. And so we're trying to get the district to understand that and apply that lens to what they choose.
And we're going to have to go to break, but when we come back, we want to talk briefly about the concept, I believe that I saw in the petition, which refers to student intervention. I'm a little curious as to what that means. Don't touch that remote. We will be right back with All About Community. And again, my name is Robert L. Harris, and I'm speaking with Kareem Weaver of the Education Committee of the Oakland branch of the NAACP. We will be right back.